Hello, Chocolo Birds here, but not for a video review. This time it's for the Q&A response, I guess. Yes, because the Q&A update, Q&A response. Yeah, basically, got to 2,000 subscribers. Did a 2,000 subscriber update Q&A special. Basically, what I said, I'm going to do a Q&A for 2,000 subscribers. Submit your questions, basically, and I'll do my best to respond to all of them. So thank you so much for those who submitted a question. Massively appreciated. If you missed it now, well, I'm sure I'll do another one again soon. So we'll try and think of some questions. I'll save your question for next time. I'm sure I'll do it for the. Who knows what subscriber special it will be. 3,000 possibly, yeah, maybe when I do that, and then we'll do another Q&A or something like that. Then you never know. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for all your questions, massively appreciated. All right, then, so the first one's got a few. As I did get millions of questions, I think it's one of those where, I don't know. It's quite difficult to think of questions, isn't it, sometimes? But you know what I mean. It's one of those. But I got enough really to make it worth doing. I think I got a good amount and some good questions really. So there we are. So yeah. So first of all, how many artificiosos? That's the question. What is your? I'm looking off to the left, by the way, because that's just where the text is. I'm reading from that. What's your best chocolate memory? What kind of chocolate was it, if you can recall, and what was the occasional setting? Well, I had a few. Got a few here. It's a good question actually. This one. I think. I mentioned one when I was younger. I don't know how old I was. I think it was before I was 10. It must have been 7, 8, 9 maybe. I remember Easter basically. I got lots of Easter eggs. And I remember for some reason I wanted to save them all, is the gist of it. And I don't know why I wanted to do this. I just wanted to keep them for as long as I could. We're not talking months, we're talking weeks, I think, from Easter really. And I had, for some reason, in my mum's bedroom, and I had them all sort of hidden away. Well, not hidden away, but like under her dressing table, wherever she had some kind of table thing where she, I don't know, did her hair or something. And yeah, they were all under there. And I remember leaving them for probably a week. It probably wasn't that long. I remember coming back to to get them. I had Terry's pyramids. I think it was Terry's, wasn't it? Pyramid, basically these sort of dark chocolate pyramids with like a after eight type mint fondant centre in them. Really nice. Don't do them anymore. And I was saving them. I thought, I'll go and eat them now. Go have one of them. Went to eat them. My mum had ate them all. All the pyramids had gone. The egg was there, I think, but the actual snacks. Someone said, "Oh, I thought you didn't want them." I was like, I was like, "Mum, why I couldn't believe she did it. I don't know how many things she'd pinched of mine, but the pyramids were definitely the ones I went to get, and that's the ones I remember. So it was quite a funny memory, really. Obviously, I think I took it reasonably well, being quite young. I think I just accepted that she pinched them. I didn't really, I think I was too young to kind of think. She knew full well I still wanted them, you know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, so that was one, not necessarily a happy memory, but a memory I think of and have a chuckle about, Another thing was remember once, it's just selection boxes at Christmas as well. I remember getting, these selection boxes. I think they still do them, but basically were like a box of chocolates. They're all sort of censored. Basically you'd have a Cadbury's one or something like that, and it would just be full of Cadbury's products and things. I just remember not very exciting really. And these days, I got bored of. I don't get them anymore, and I got bored of them when I was, quite young still. But I just remember opening them at Christmas and them being quite special, and just. I don't know. I just remember being quite. I think I remember having one with a marathon bar in it, which is now Snickers, and just these. I just remember specific Christmases opening them and being really excited because it was just chocolates I wouldn't normally have had, and just didn't have that much chocolate at the time. So I remember being quite excited by those as well. I remember one time as well, I got a 1 kilogram bar of dairy milk as well. Massive bar. I don't think they do them anymore. You can get quite big dairy milk bars, but definitely not a kilogram size bar. I remember going through that and polishing it off, and it was really indulgent. It was just a whole kilogram of chocolate, ridiculous really. But I think it's probably against the law to do that these days, But really enjoyed those, really nice. Yeah, so that was a lovely memory as well. One other very distinct one as well. I think I remember my dad was going away once, and I think he always would sneak me some chocolate basically and leave it in a secret place. He shouldn't really have done because I was basically overweight when I was younger, but he kept giving me chocolate basically and hiding it away from my mum. I just remember he was going away once and he left it in, it was like a toffee crisp it was, and he just left it for me. I remember he'd kind of gone and I was thinking, I wonder if he still left me some chocolate. And I remember checking in the usual place and there was a chocolate bar there. So that was a really nice memory as well. So and I think after that when he came back, he never did it anymore. I think it was one of those things that stopped after that point because it just time went on, and of course by the time he got back, things had just changed, So just that sticks in my mind as well. So some good happy memories there, really. Yeah, next question. So Alan Lockhart, yes, yeah, had a couple of questions actually. Yes, out with an official review. What's the most amount of chocolate you've eaten in one session? Yeah, well, difficult one this one. I think basically, things like biscuits, things like I can eat a whole pack of biscuits basically. If I have a pack of biscuits, I can just polish them off very easily. Maybe that, I don't know, that kilogram of dairy milk, I didn't think I ate in all one session. But it's basically where it's like a box of chocolates, can just, or a tub of Cadbury's Heroes or Quality Street or whatever. Well, I don't necessarily have quality on my own generally, but I think Roses or Heroes, got a tub of those. It can be very easy to go through quite a lot of them. But I think specifically, it probably goes down to ice cream really. Ben and Jerry's. I think I've had 2 tubs of those, one after the other, before now. The sort of full fat Ben and Jerry's, not the low calorie ones. So that's probably the most I've had really, and that's quite a lot of calories basically. Yeah, so I think that's probably the most really, and not done anything too crazy. But I think just all these mini, boxes of chocolates, just polish them off quite quickly. So I don't think I've eaten ridiculous amounts. I think mince pies at Christmas once, I went through 2 boxes of 6 basically of those, which is quite bad, about 200 calories each. So yeah, so it's But I think, sometimes I like savoury. So in the past, I think I think at least 1 large Domino's pizza and then 2 tubs of Ben and Jerry's, I think it was. But sometimes I had 2 large Domino's pizzas as well, so I don't really want to say for sure. But then we're getting off into savoury foods then, so yeah. But yeah, that's kind of it. So not too bad. But if it's like boxes of ice creams, I can just finish off a whole box. Yeah, so 3 Magnums, whatever it is, and then maybe I've got 2 boxes now of some other. So yeah, I have to be very careful. It's very easy to eat loads of chocolate, so I try to be very careful nowadays. I've gone off the boil a bit recently, but yeah, that's basically the gist of it. So yeah. And he also asked, how did I settle on the name of the channel? Did I have any other considerations? Well, I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't think about it. I think it just came to me really. There's some speculation as to what my real name is. Is it Roberto, Robert or whatever? Of course, can't possibly comment. I always refer to myself as Chocolo, Some people call me Roberto, but I always call myself Chocolo. And in the description of my videos, I'll always say Chocolo investigates, or Chocolo does this, or join Chocolo. I never refer to myself as Roberto. So make of that what you will. But I just wanted something that sounded quite quirky and interesting, basically. That was the gist of it. Something a bit silly, something a bit distinct. Yeah, and I'm like that anyway. I kind of make up silly things, and I just thought, it sounds silly, sounds quite amusing, sounds quite unique, but yet it's got a basis on reality. It's got like a real name in it. I thought it sounded quite funny. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, and then right, and Robbie, yes, and Alan also asked this question, but Robbie asked it live as well. Do you finish all the products after reviewing them, or share them with others? And basically, if I'm not in a self-controlled mode, I will finish them off myself. I will just I try not to do that though. And for a long time I was very good at not eating them myself. I just have what I did in a review, then put them to one side and not touch them, or just gradually eat them over a week or 2 weeks even. If it's a segmented bar or something, just be very slow. So I've been very good, but otherwise I try to give them to friends. So I've got some friends I visit. I give them stuff I've eaten or reviewed rather. I just take it to them, or I take it to work if I can. A bit difficult now. I work largely from home nowadays. But yeah, that's the gist of it. So I try not to eat it on myself, but it can be very difficult. But I try not to, and I try not to waste it either. But sometimes it's one of those where, sometimes if I'm being very careful, I've not managed to see friends or whatever, not managed to take it to work. It's sometimes has got to the point where it's just been basically out for a week or whatever, and I've not finished off myself. And I think no one's going to really want that. So, but I try not to let that happen. It's not. I wouldn't say it's very rare, but it's pretty rare that happens really. So I try to avoid it. But so I don't want to waste it. Really don't. But I can't eat it on myself. It's just really unhealthy and not a good idea to eat it on myself. So, but I've still got to review it. It's a difficult one, that really. Okay, and Joe as well. Joe asked, yes, what would be a day of eating in my daily routine? Yes, this is an interesting one. Always a bit worried about answering these ones really, because basically my daily eating routine is probably not the healthiest, because I concentrate on calories really. I try not to eat many calories. I review things at the weekend. So I do eat quite a lot of calories there, although I try not to, but it can be difficult because I might just, like I mentioned before, just polish off the products really. So it's one of those. But I try not to. So basically, I try not to eat that much. So normally I'd have perhaps some toast for breakfast, 2 or 3 rounds of toast, 300, 400 calories basically. Now for dinner, I probably won't have anything. I have an early tea basically. Tea being what we call in the north of the UK, what people call dinner. So lunch I'd call dinner. What people call lunch I generally call dinner, and what people call dinner I generally call tea. So one of those, not the drink, so an actual meal of the day, but the drink as well. Not necessarily at the same time. Mutual excuse or whatever it is. So normally then for tea I'd normally have perhaps soup and toast, believe it or not, or just something very small, something controlled. I might have like I won't say a ready meal, but something where the calories are very specific on it. I might not make, because if I make things for myself, I'll eat too much of it. Because if I make like some lasagna, or I do like to make things, I would eat more than I should, because it's so nice when you made it yourself and it's lovely and fresh and warm and beautiful. You just end up eating too much, and I've got to control my calories, unfortunately, because I just can't eat that much these days without putting weight on. It's very, it's a real pain. But there we go. So I just have to be very careful. So basically, I don't eat that much exciting really, generally. Although when I'm not being very good, not being very self-controlled, I will eat too much and treat myself, or eat too much in the evenings during the week. I've really got to stop that, because I can't do it and do the reviews at the weekend basically. Without because unless I really don't eat that much sweet wise at the week, when I do my reviews, if I just only eat literally little bits of it, but I have to try, well, I don't have to, but I try to have a sizable amount of the chocolate so I can properly taste it and review it, and have a decent opinion on it. So nothing too exciting. It can be really calorie controlled things during the week, and nothing very what people would consider ridiculously healthy. I might try and have some salads and things. Well, I've just recently started having salad sandwiches and things. I always take a vitamin tablet as well. I'm not one of those people that is against artificial nutrients, that sort of thing. I'm quite happy to take a vitamin tablet and stuff like that. It's that kind of thing basically. Yeah, so I'm very, in a perfect world, I could just eat a reasonable amount and stay underweight and stuff, or just a good weight, but it's very difficult, so I just have to be very calorie conscious basically. There we go. So very boring set of food during the week really, but I don't mind that, to be honest with you. I am actually quite happy to eat the same things day in day out really. Don't know why, because I quite like, when I find something I like it, and I can eat it, and I don't mind, I don't get bored of it. But but it's one of those. And Rick B, yes, asked Android or Apple. Yes, Android basically. My phones have always been Android. Never had an Apple phone, although I do have an iPad. Just because it's easier to use for various, it's just easier to use for things like watching YouTube videos and general little things. I've looked into Android tablets, but I don't know if they just don't seem to be quite as. It doesn't seem to be worth going for really. I think Apple have that bit nailed down really. I think the phones are a bit, I don't know, I'm not too keen on the phones. So Android phones are generally the way forward for me. But Apple iPads, I do quite like those. So I'm a bit of both basically, but definitely an Android person generally, and especially from the early days of Android, where I think they were just so much more accessible, and it's still. Well, most phones are much of a muchness now, and tablets generally, I think, are as well. And definitely, Google Play Store and stuff like that is not the cheaper alternative that it used to be. I think, I think it was anyway, back 10, 15 years ago, whatever it was. But well, 10 years ago, I think maybe, not over 10 years, but anyway, however long ago it was. So it's changed a bit really, but I still generally prefer Android phones. Just think they're so much more flexible and this, that, and the other. But I think the iPad experience is pretty easy, and I've had my current iPad I've had for a long time. I don't know, 5 to 8 years or something, and it still works reasonably well. There's some crashes every now and pretty I mean, I don't know, it crashes or does something odd sometimes, but it's not that bad generally. So it still works pretty just as well as it did when I got it, but I probably am due an upgrade, but there we go. Yes, now there, Casey or Shady Willoughby. Hello there, Casey. Hope you're doing okay. Yeah, thanks so much for your question. If you could create your own chocolate bar, like Cadbury's Inventions, that kind of thing, but better, what would I choose? Yeah, it was a difficult one, this one, to be honest with you. It's really difficult. I've always talked about banana flavourings and things like this and how I really want banana in my chocolate. So I think it'd have to be something along those lines, but not like a boring one like they always seem to do, where they just double it with like a toffee or something like that, like a crunchy bit of toffee or something. I think it would have to be have some kind of biscuit crunch in it. So have a bit of a crunch in it, because I always like biscuit crunch in my chocolate as well. So it'd be like a milk chocolate, like a dairy milk probably. I like dairy milk. Sort of banana flavoured chocolate with like a biscuit crunchy bits, but not with toffee pieces, but like a runny caramel in there as well, like a proper decent runny thick nice caramel as well. So I think that's the thing for me with chocolate. It's got to have like that, these sort of things, these four things, I guess. A nice chocolate, sort of like a nice flavour, a bit of crunch as well, and sort of something runny, like a fruit flavouring or a caramel flavouring or something like that, or a caramel, that kind of thing really. I guess like they do like sort of like Giardelli's or I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I always say Giardelli. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. And they're sort of dark chocolate and raspberry. I think it was, or cherry. I think, and Vidal do one as well. I like those as well. They're nice. I like their raspberry or fruit centres basically. Always really lovely. And I think that's nice. So you could have like some, but I think banana wouldn't really work like that. I think it's got to be a flavouring rather than some kind of banana cream or something. But you never know. Maybe that would work. But I definitely think like a caramel, runny caramel with a banana flavoured chocolate with biscuit pieces and a chocolate like dairy milk. I think that would be really nice actually. So they've almost got there with the inventor bars, but they're almost there, but so far away. You know what I mean? They really haven't got that close at all. While on paper looks like they're close, they haven't really. They've just never really managed it. So I think that would definitely be my favourite really. Yeah. So there we go. I think that would definitely be the chocolate bar I would try and invent for sure. I think you can go too far as well. I don't want to go too crazy. I do like the idea of things as well, of like sort of gummy sweets in there and things like this. You've seen some of the Marvelous Creation bars, things that have that like chewy sweets, and I think there's definitely something in that. Maybe some kind of sour sweet creation as well. But I feel like it'd be difficult, that one, to do. Whether it would be greater than the sum of its parts, I'm not sure. Especially having tasted some of these Marvelous Creation bars with chew bits in, sometimes I don't get them quite right. But I think there's definitely something in that as well. I can see that kind of being one. But I don't know. It's a difficult one, that one. I feel like maybe sometimes they're nice, but whether they're as good as they would be separate, is the question. But I think that's definitely an avenue I'd like to go. Some kind of sour, chewy sweet sort of combo with chocolate somehow. But I don't know how to make that work. I think it would be down to the consistency of the chewy sweets really, as and it sounds more interesting than it actually is. I think it's just basically chewy sweets covered in chocolate basically. There's nothing too extravagant about that, but maybe some kind of sour flavored chocolate would be interesting. I always used to love the Willy Wonka chocolate, the purple chocolate they did, and while that was nothing amazing as far as just being a bit of a gimmick purple flavored chocolate, it just can really make something very exciting. It had like crunchy bright yellow balls in it, I think it was. I think it was crunchy anyway, I can't quite recall particularly, but it was an amazing one. I loved it. Great experience. But again, on paper, nothing that exciting about it, but in practice worked really well. So maybe some kind of, as I say, sour flavoured chocolate would be quite interesting. It's certainly something that we've not seen before. I haven't anyway. And I think, and whether that would be just sour in its own right or sour as a result of having, chewy sweets that are sour in it, I don't know. But I feel like it's a sugar coating, isn't it, that makes the sourness for these sour sweets. So I think it would have to work like that in some way. It wouldn't just be sour sweets. But I don't know. Interesting one, that one. Yeah, it would be an interesting one. Yeah, I think that'd be quite interesting. Some kind of other fruity type flavours, mango flavours and things like this, but not just done in like a cream or something. Something a bit more interesting in the way they do it, or a banana flavour that's not just a flavouring. But I don't really know. It always tends to come back to just being creams, doesn't it? But I did like the Terry's cranberry. When they did their cranberry and orange bar. It was just their chocolate orange, but with cranberry, soft, sugary type pieces in there that were really nice. And I thought they came across really well. It was one of the best, like sort of fruit type fillings. It wasn't fruit; it was like a sugary candy centre, and I thought that was really well done actually. So I can imagine something like those as a fruity flavoured bit, or maybe sour or whatever, could be the solution to it, and a really great way of doing it. But it's all down to the way it's implemented, the execution of it, and that's the difficult part of it with these kind of things. So, yeah. There we go. But interesting one, that one. Yeah, very interesting. Very complicated. Very complicated to get the right solution, I think, there. But very interesting. Food for thought, literally. All right then, guys. All right then, guys. Alright then guys, well that's all the answers for now. Yes, all the questions. Thank you so much for all of those. Massively appreciated. Really great to hear from you all, and like some very interesting questions there. So yes, if you did miss out on that Q&A, well, I'm sure I'll do another one in the future, maybe for a 3,000 subscriber special, something like that. So yes, so keep an eye out, and subscribe if you haven't already, of course, and let your friends know, make them subscribe as well. Yeah, great to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for your questions, as I say, massively appreciated. And thank you all for all your support, and have a great day. Thanks for all your support, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again, guys. Take care. Bye for now. See ya.